So Lepore, there was a big trade
There was.
in the NHL over the last few days. Vladimir Tarasenko traded to the New York Rangers. So the St. Louis Blues are kind of in a weird spot. Like, they have a good roster, but they're just not playing well this season. And now they get rid of Tarasenko, who's on an expiring contract. Ryan O'Reilly is on an expiring contract as well. It remains to be seen whether he's going to get traded. You know, there's been a lot of rumors with Jacob Chikrin flying around. He was held out of the last game because it looked like a trade was imminent, and the Los Angeles Kings were right in the middle of it. Some people were thinking even the Leafs and Oilers were involved. There's a lot of rumors flying around. But anyway, specifically on this Tarasenko trade, this is the first big domino that has dropped here.
Yeah.
This guy is a dynamic player. He's not quite as great as he used to be, still in his early 30s. What do you think this does now in the Eastern Conference and even for the race for the Stanley Cup? Like, does this put the Rangers now a peg above most teams, in your opinion, that they picked up Tarasenko?
If someone looked me in the face right now and said the New York Rangers are the favorite to win the Stanley Cup, I would have a hard time arguing with them. That's not me necessarily picking them to win the cup, but I think the way they've played lately, because they had a rough start. They didn't have the greatest start. The way they've turned it around, making this addition, they look confident. That's a good friggin' lineup, man. That's a sick lineup. You look at their D. Like, let's go over it. They have Lindgren, Fox, Miller, and Trouba as their top four. And then you've Shesterkin behind them. And the thing is with the Rangers, why I like them so much is with a lot of teams, you know, okay, that's how they're going to win, or this is how they're going to beat you. Well, the Rangers can beat you a lot of different ways. They have a goalie. They can. The last game against Toronto, I couldn't believe how much they sat back. They just wanted to slow the game down, bore Toronto to death so they can play that game. And then on the flip side, they have guys who can score. They have Zibanejad, they have Kreider, they have Panarin, they have Tarasenko going deeper in their lineup. I mean, people take their shots at Kakko and Lafreniere, but they're on the third line.
It's a deep team, man.
Yeah, they're dangerous. So that's a team, man. That's a team. And you throw them on the weaker side of the bracket to help them out a little bit. If someone said to me they had to go through Tampa and Boston just to get to the conference final, I may have a different opinion because, I mean, that would just make it harder. Facts. But as it stands right now, based on their path, based on their lineup, based on how they've been playing, and this addition, wow, that's a team to be reckoned with. And if someone wants to say the New York Rangers are going to win the Stanley Cup, if you're going to pick one team, it's hard to argue that that's a bad take.
That's a scary lineup, man. I was in the minority last season. I liked them last year in the playoffs. Like, I had them going to the conference final.
Okay.
People were picking against them. And a lot of the reason last year is because they just weren't a very good analytics team.
Right.
Like, it was more of a team, despite all of their talent, they were getting bailed out by Shesterkin. But that's what I couldn't get over was, like, I would look at their lineup every day and I'm like, this team's loaded. Yeah. Like, this team is so good. Just on paper, talent-wise, you said it, man. When you have, like, Kakko and Lafreniere playing on the third line, like, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Like, they're loaded in the top six. And even on defense, like, Adam Fox is a Norris Trophy winner. And then you add in, like, Jacob Trouba, who might be, like, the scariest defenseman to go up against right now in the NHL based on his ability to lay open ice hits. Like, you always got to have your head up when Trouba's on the ice. Like, that dude is a freight train. Mm-hmm. And then Shesterkin in net, who is arguably the best goalie in the NHL. I mean, I wouldn't argue with you if you have Vasilevsky at number one, but Shesterkin's, like, right there. Yeah. So this is a loaded roster. You add Tarasenko now. It's a scary team, man. Here's one thing I will say, though. Looking at the betting markets, Lepore.
Oh, I like it. They
Didn't
don't believe in them
change too much because even with Tarasenko on the Rangers right now, they are still 33-1 to win the Stanley Cup. However, those are the seventh best odds to win the Cup.
That's a bet. That's a bet, man.
Yeah. I think we both have to lock in that bet before the end of the podcast.
Come on, 33-1?
Or sorry, I lied, Lepore. That was the President's Trophy.
Oh,
My
jeez.
bad, everybody. That was the President's Trophy.
Oh god, heart
That's
attack,
my
Bruno. I
bad.
almost went on my phone and laid the bet.
They are okay. This is for real now. They are
Okay.
14-1 to win the Stanley Cup.
Okay.
And they are ninth. They are ninth on the board in terms of odds to win the cup. So the teams in front of them are obviously, you have the Boston Bruins, who are the cup favorite, Colorado, Carolina, the Leafs, haha, laugh all you want, New Jersey, Tampa, Vegas, Dallas, and the Rangers at 14-1.
Jersey's interesting for them to be.
Jersey's a really good team too. Like, I think that's another team that's loaded with talent. Their goaltending is a little bit sketchy, but yeah, the Rangers at 14-1, man, it's a pretty good bet, Lepore.
Yeah,
I know it's not 33-1 when I was looking at the President's Trophy odds, but 14-1 is pretty darn good.
Yeah, you got people excited on a Monday morning with a 33-1.
I got myself excited until I realized, wait a second, that is not the Stanley Cup future.
But I am surprised, especially within the division. As it stands today, that the Devils would be more of a favorite than the Rangers. That's pretty shocking to me.
Yeah, I think just the Devils from the start of the season have been so good, and they've been an analytics darling this year.
Yes.
They control play, like they dominate the shot attempts. They got a really good team. And again, I think that's where the Rangers are still kind of like, people are like, I still need to see this. And you know what, looking at even like, I'm looking at some of their advanced numbers, like they're okay. Like they're kind of like middle of the pack, a little bit better than average. So maybe that's why people are still kind of, a little reserved in terms of their belief in the Rangers. But yeah, I think that team's loaded, and I wouldn't be surprised at all if we see them like right back in the conference final.
Yeah, not at all. And I think the Rangers may have their away jersey, the white one. That, to me, that's one of the most underrated jerseys in sports. Beautiful.
I like the Rangers jerseys.
They're nice. My God. Beautiful. Beautiful. And there's not many teams, and people comment down below if any come to mind. There's not too many teams where the white, your road, is nicer than your home, because the solid color as opposed to the white with the trim. The Rangers white, man, that is a perfect jersey. Perfect. Timeless.
Yeah, no, when Lepore tells you a jersey is nice,
he's right.
He's right. You just go with it.
He's right.
This guy knows everything about jerseys. But yeah, this is a scary team. And now we got to see what happens with some of these other big names. Like Patrick Kane. He actually came out and he was kind of upset that the Rangers acquired Tarasenko and didn't go after him.
Yeah.
It looked like he wanted to play for the New York Rangers. So it seems like Kane is on his way out in Chicago. He's on an expiring contract. I mentioned Ryan O'Reilly, all the rumors with Jacob Chikrin. Then you have Timo Meier, who might be the biggest fish at the deadline.
Yeah,
because
McCabe.
There was also reports that the Rangers were looking into acquiring Timo Meier and Patrick Kane, but that the asking price was just too high. So they essentially settled for Tarasenko, if you want to even call that settling for like a multi-time 30-goal scorer, but and a Stanley Cup champion. But yeah, we'll see what happens. Like, I don't know what the Leafs are going to do. Like, Kyle Dubas has come out, Lepore, and said that, he's really not going to make like a big splash. But I don't know. I don't necessarily believe him. I think if the right deal is there, I think the Leafs will attempt to make a big splash, but it remains to be seen what player that's going to be.
Do you think Taves gets moved?
I think Taves is going to get moved as well.
Yeah.
Because just like Kane, he's on an expiring contract. He's not on the same talent tier as those guys. And I know it sounds crazy, but Jonathan Taves is just not anywhere close to the same player he used to be. Yeah, I think all those guys are going to get moved. I think we're going to be in for fireworks at this trade deadline. I think it's going to be kind of an arms race, honestly. And the Rangers got a head start, but I think we're going to see a lot of action. I really do.
Yeah, it would be cool if Taves went back home to Winnipeg. That's a story.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
Cool. Yeah, the thing is with him, right? With that salary, is it a double retain or bust? Even at half his salary, how many teams would be willing to do that? I don't know. It's tough with Taves. It is for what he contributes at this point.
Honestly, with a lot of these guys, just because like barely anyone has cap space these days.
Yeah, exactly.
So it just seems like no matter who gets traded of these big name guys. And even like Erik Karlsson's name has been floating around. Like,
yeah. I laugh at that. Yeah, I laugh at that.
There's gonna have to be cap retention. There's gonna have to be like maybe multiple teams involved. Like no matter who gets traded of these big names, because no one has cap space.
Yeah, but the thing with the Karlsson one that drives me nuts is, yes, it would be cool if he ended up on a better team and the difference he would make to a team. And I wish we had a league where we could do that. But what does he have left on his deal? Like 4 years?
Exactly.
Like they're not going to retain.
Expiring deal.
Yeah, they're not going to retain
multiple years left at 11.5 million.
Yeah, if you're any team, like San Jose's not going to retain 5.75 million for 4 years. Give me a break. Even a double retain. Why would you do that? Who's to say you're not a good team in 2-3 years? So the Karlsson one to me is confusing. Maybe it's an offseason one when a team can free up the space or they have a free agent walk away. But right now, I can't see it happening. I hope it does. To be excited. And when those Oilers rumors started, I'm like, that would be a blast. But no, I can't. It'll be a tough one. It really will.
Yeah, I just wish the NHL wasn't the way it is right now with the salary cap situation and how like more than 2/3 of the league has like no cap space. It's just kind of a joke, honestly. But we'll see. I think some of these teams are going to try to make it work because I think a lot of the top teams realize, that their opportunity is right now. Strike while the iron is hot. And who knows how many opportunities you're going to get to win a Stanley Cup. And with all these big names, like I can't remember the last time this many big names were kind of in the trade rumors at this point of the season. So it should be exciting.